This is a negative related, but you can turn it positive if you want to, okay?
Okay, top 10 reasons businesses fail for 200, please.
Well,
Joe.
I'm not going to say top 10 because you and I might add a few.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Here we go. Funny, the first one they said is growing too fast. I wouldn't have put it at the top, but it is clearly, I see that often.
The first reaction is that even possible to grow too fast? I mean, it's obviously the great problem to have versus the other direction that you sit and wait and nothing's happening. Nobody's buying your product or your service. It reminds me of the old IBM commercial, though, where the business is going online. They wait for the first order. It happens. 30 seconds later, another click, an order, and all of a sudden they're going so fast, they have no way to handle the fulfillment. So it's an issue.
Yeah, you do have to be prepared for it. You and how you do that growth really matters. So
big topic in that area everybody should plan for is scalability. How do I scale my business as it grows?
Great point. Failing to track your finances. Oh, man. I swear, if I had a dime for every small business owner when I said, if you'll give me 3 years worth of income statements and a balance sheet, I can help you value the business. And they'll say, I don't have that. I've got to go get it, which means they're not looking at their numbers.
Well, and for a startup, even if you're doing Quicken Books or something like that you're doing yourself, getting a little bit outside expertise. And as you grow to the point where you need either a controller or a CFO, maybe it's to the point where you can't afford a full-time CEO, and there's actually firms that provide fractional financial assistance, and that's a great thing to have.
Well, we've got a buddy, Dave Gilroy, that does that with Scale Finance, and I use him all the time. He is phenomenal, and it's not that expensive, guys. Don't be so scared, to bring somebody in to help you get caught up with this stuff.
Well, and it's important because obviously, as you work with your bankers, as you're trying to finance, exit strategies on the back end to look at and prepare for. Having that financial data is absolutely critical.
Yeah. Overspending, that's like a duh.
We do that in government, so we have the same problem. That'll bury you faster than anything. It's the spending on trips and things, the unnecessary items. Keep it lean and mean.
Yep. Next one is lack of reserve capital. And, that's interesting. As a small business person, you need to strategically do that. I mean, there's a way to do that. I love that we've actually got a banker that just walked in, so we'll get him on in the second half, I'm sure he's got a whole opinion on how this reserve capital should work. I love equity lines, credit lines, which went poof, in the middle of the night about two years ago. But that type of thing is the best way to go. So you don't actually have cash sitting there doing nothing, but you do have access when you run into these problems.
Unquestionably, I think the number one problem that most business startups fail is being undercapitalized overall. So you are growing and successful, and you have no money to bring in that next tier of skilled set worker. You have no ability to buy that extra inventory. You don't have the ability to bring in the new computer system. So undercapitalized is a big issue. Or
implementing a great idea. Once you put the business plan together, what you realize is, there's a couple of things I left out, right? I mean, it never fails. It always happens. And then you've got to be able to implement this new great idea that your new employees came up with. And without capital, you can't make it happen.
Well, the other side of this is the waterfall that you agree on within the managing folks running the company, and that is, who do you pay in what order? Employees got to be paid first, or you have nobody to do. Versus, when do you pay your vendors? When do you pay yourself? When do you pay your payables that you owe? So those things all have to be prioritized in the right order as well.
So we're talking, Jeff, with the top reasons why small businesses fail, and here is number 5, poor choice of location.
And that's changing, because the internet and social media and other outlets are changing the dynamic of how we sell both product and services, right? And that's even something we're dealing at the legislature, because it's changing how we collect sales tax and where. But location's important. I mean, depending on the type of business you have, if you're looking for somebody that's a destination business, then it's less so. But if you're looking for walk-in traffic, obviously location's everything.
Yeah, I would change this one to the modern day statement of know your demographics. That's how I would change that. A lot of people don't know this. I had a whole nother life, before I moved up to Lake Norman, right? And I own
really
one of the
didn't know that.
one of the largest closed market environment restaurant concepts in the Southeast. I had about 40 operations in Charlotte area. If there was a 110,000 square foot office building or larger, I had some type of food service in the building. Same thing. I had 26 operations in Jacksonville, Florida, and 18 in Nashville, Tennessee. And one of the things I learned is that you really don't know what a location's going to do for you. I had all of these numbers, and I really thought I knew, and I'd done it enough that you'd think you could just figure out, oh, this building's going to do well. And I just learned the makeup of the building actually matters a lot more than the actual location of the building itself.
Well, here's a tricky thing for the small business owner or the startup business, and it's something that, of all things, Burger King used to do. And it's when you don't have the resources to necessarily go do the market research and research the demographics, and you've got a major competitor who's pretty successful, and location matters, go get right up, snuggle up beside them.
Yep.
Burger King, without having to invest in all the market research, just used to go build next to the McDonald's.
Yep. Yeah, and it's such a great point that even the best of the best make mistakes. You do see McDonald's close from time to time.
Indeed.
So and also traffic pattern and that sort of stuff, because you're aggravating politicians move streets and stuff like that.
Exactly. When you see an interchange change, if you will. We've got an issue with the toll road where we're not going to have access off the toll road at every exit. That will impact those fast food restaurants, those hotels. So you have to be careful, even some things that are outside your control.
I want everybody to know that Senator Jeff Tarte just said exactly. So
there you go.
We celebrate that whenever somebody says that, Jeff. Here, you wouldn't know that, only your second week. But anyway,